unschooling, broadly speaking, is our base philosophy, which just means the kid never has to learn anything. There's never a situation where we're like, sit down and learn addition. They don't have like the rights of adults. We'll always not only choose to, but want to learn whatever they have determined they need to learn in order to get what they want. I have a direct answer for you.
Oh, perfect. This will be a quick show.
I do not think that curiosity or critical thinking is something that needs to be instilled.
You think it's natural? I think
it's inherent. I think it's the natural state of a human.
Like a survival of the fittest type of.
Yeah, I think that we wouldn't be here if that wasn't, if that hadn't been selected for over all these years.
Interesting.
Right? And you see this. You got kids. You see that they're infinitely curious. Mm-hmm. I mean, right out as soon as they can, they start exploring things they shouldn't. They start, asking questions. Why?
Yeah.
Right. Like this is natural. What we've created, the reason why people might not see that as natural is because we've devised explicitly and purposefully systems that beat the living crap out of children until all their intellectual curiosity and drive is
through, you figure, like school system or.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that some of that is an unfortunate emergent property of, economic incentives, and some of it is intentional statecraft.
Statecraft, like you'd say,
it's tough to know.
Evil intentions, like
I don't even know if you want to call it evil. It's statecraft. It's like if you are going to govern a population of people, you want to make your life easier, right?
Right.
So it's easier to govern cattle than humans, so make them cattle. Yes, I think that that's evil, but I'm saying
you're not sure there's evil intent behind it. More just
it's practical. It's evil, but I think it by just sort of dismissing it as like that's an evil person,
right,
misses some of the nuance about why it happened and how you could prevent it from happening or change it. Right. It's not just because they're evil people. There was incentives involved.
Right.
And so, I think there is a very intentional, might not be the only reason, but there's an intentional effort to dumb people down, destroy their curiosity and self-esteem being the critical thing actually that needs to be destroyed. Because once you've destroyed someone's self-esteem, especially an entire population, so they'll listen to anybody with a lab coat on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Trust the experts.
Yeah. Like, who am I? To know? Who am I to research?
Right.
Right. The answer is, if you have self-esteem, the answer is, I am me. And I can, and I will.
You can just do things.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's self-empowerment.
But most people don't have that. And that was a very intentional thing. They did have it.
Where did that start, do you think?
What age?
No, when in history? Like at what point does this begin?
I don't know. I'm not that well read on the historical progression of like
self-esteem.
Well, schooling and,
right,
institutions designed to destroy self-esteem.
Right.
I do know that it has taken it has accelerated with modern public school systems, right? That back when we were a bit more tribal, I'm not saying we should go back to that, right? I'm not glorifying it. I'm just saying that the parents, right, the community was much more involved in raising the children.
Yeah.
And as, the dynamics of force and violence have caused the emergence of nation states, right? This modern phenomenon of a centralized, all-powerful nation state is relatively new emergence in history, facilitated by weaponry and communication systems, right? The groups of people that could more effectively centralize control and power, particularly firepower, tended to win against the people that were disorganized in huts.
Yeah.
And so the result of this is the nation state, and the nation state wants to preserve its own power as inherent in its nature. And so it feels natural to me that one tool in the toolbox of preserving that power would be mass indoctrination, right? Why use force when you don't have to?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
get them young.
Yeah. It's better to have compliance than to force obedience.
Right.
And so it's a fairly modern phenomenon, I think.
The school system.
I think it goes hand in hand. The kind of tactics I'm saying, the intentional the intent of destroying self-esteem and critical thinking for the sake of ruling, I think is a fairly modern thing that arose alongside the nation state. I can't speak authoritatively about that because I don't know enough about like ancient civilizations and what their schooling practices were.
Right.
But also it's kind of irrelevant whether they were doing it or not, because we know it's happening now, and that's what I'm concerned with.
Yeah. So like as you then go to raise your family and you've got these kids, like I assume you're venturing down a homeschool, unschool, like unschooling. And so walk me through this. Is something that my wife and I discuss all the time is like, we want our kids to be able to read and do math and think critically and, you know, this type of thing. But we're homeschooling our kids. How do you define unschooling and where does that, and does it start for your 1-year-old? Does it start for your 3-year-old? Like how do you guys approach education?
There are different schools of thought and paradigms that you can, you know, like Montessori, for example,
right,
is one that I appreciate very much. I've read Maria Montessori's original works. The Absorbent Mind is an excellent book. And, you know, we adhere to Montessori principles and practices to a degree. But I think Montessori is a bit too structured, especially for older years. I think for early childhood education, Montessori pretty much nails it. But I think as they get older, it tries to maintain too much control. Whereas when kids are young, they need the structure, they need the control. They can't decide anything for themselves, basically, right? I mean, if they did, they'd just jump off the roof.
Yeah.
So
eat chocolate.
Yeah, they don't have like the rights of adults.
Yeah.
You know, and they shouldn't.
No.
But unschooling, broadly speaking, is our base philosophy, which just means the kid never has to learn anything. There's never a situation where we're like, sit down and learn addition. Right.
Today we're doing figure they'll naturally learn addition.
Yes, they will. The theory is that children of any age, beyond early childhood, okay, once they're able to make decisions that are reasonably coherent, will always not only choose to, but want to learn whatever they have determined they need to learn in order to get what they want.
Free market, baby. The free market
So it's
reign.
all driven by incentives, right? You want a certain thing. And so our approach is generally to build things, to do things, to be like, all right, you know, Nova, we're going to build a castle today, and it's going to have like a slide that the little figurine can go down. And so in building that thing, we naturally encounter problem sets that require skills that she does not possess.
Right.
And she doesn't like that.
Right.
We want to feel efficacious. We have self-esteem. We need purpose. And so when you encounter something that you can't do, this is troubling even to a young child. They're like, I'll do it myself. You know, you see this all the time with kids. I'll do it.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? They want to feel like an adult. They want to feel powerful.
Yeah.
And so they're ready to learn. It's like, hey, we're going to build this thing. We've encountered a problem you can't solve. Now I could do it for you, but I could also teach you how to do it. And it's good. It's important not to pressure them, because then they learn to hate learning, which is what the schools do. You will learn this. And they're like, no, I won't, because what's more important than learning is
wanting to learn. Yeah.
Is like, given a choice, I think a human will generally choose to maintain their agency over their intelligence. Like, you give a kid a choice, sit down and learn this. They're like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I actually want to learn this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do what I'm told, because that would be giving up my agency, which is my essential human characteristic. So I'm going to choose agency and actually hurt myself in this other area in order to preserve the thing that matters most.
And they aren't self-aware enough. Like, because there's a saying, what is the saying? Cut off your nose to spite your face, or something like this.
All the time.
But the kids don't, they don't realize that they're doing it. They're not self-aware enough.
Adults do it too, right?
Yeah, well, for sure.
And so the key with raising the kids is to not put them in that position. To be like, what do you want to learn? And to inspire them. Like, our job, I think, as parents, is to create environments that afford curiosity, that provide resources. So it's to create resourceful environments that, again, that inspire, right? That's the job of the adult, I think, is to inspire and instruct when asked. right? So if you see a kid messing with something and you can tell they're struggling with it, going over and be like, did you know that the earth is actually spinning? And they're like, whoa, you know, like they're really energized by this. And then to let them go with that, right? So it's to like sort of inject yourself every once in a while to like spark their curiosity, to inspire them, and then let them direct their education. And along the way, assuming the relationship is solid, they will ask you to teach them stuff. They'll be like, hey, I'm working on this thing, or they'll get frustrated and be like, I can't do it.
Right.
You know, and you step in, you're like, do you want help or do you need to take a break? Like, what do you need?
Helping them discern what the next right step is.
And hopefully as they get older, they start to become more aware of their own emotions, and they start being like, I need help. I want you to teach me something. And they learn patience and they learn perseverance, especially if you're teaching them those words along the way. Like my 5-year-old knows what perseverance means, probably more than most adults do, because she struggles with perseverance like any kid does, right? You run into a problem and you just want to give up.
I'm done. Yep.
It's like, no, you got to push through. Perseverance is something you need and want. And so she can tell you what perseverance means. Obviously she doesn't grok it fully, because the derivation of that word requires understanding all of its component concepts, which itself requires understanding all of its component percepts, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So you could spend a lifetime trying to figure out what a single word means. And this is sort of, you know, Buddhist monk type stuff where it's like, I've thought about this word for many years.
Right.
You know? Which I love. I think that's amazing.
Have you read lots of Buddhist works or like monk works? No,
not a lot.
They're
and it's been a while. College days. But I took away the essence. I took away a degree of like, you know, abstract lessons from as well as other readings, teachings.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, man, that concept of unschooling, I think I align with everything you say and then struggle to see how we'd actually practice it. Because it feels incredibly low time preference.
As a society or as a family.
Maybe both. I mean, I think as a society, I think it actually works better at the macro than the micro. I think only inside, you just need to be so disciplined, which is probably a good thing in and of itself, but so disciplined as a family, and then also have a high level of trust that, you know, what if your kid doesn't want to, just doesn't, you know, and what if they just want, now granted, they're not going to want to play video games because chances are you're not going to have video games. Like, you know what I mean?
Environment matters.
Yeah.
What the environment to do totally is often determined about what they can see.
Yeah. 100% agree.
That's a huge part of it.
And so having that discipline, I suppose, as a family and recognizing that, I think one of the biggest misconceptions for parenting that I've recognized in trying to balance is that I'm not really called to be my kid's friend. Like, we're here to give them agency, but also to guide their agency in the right direction. Because, you know, I don't know how old you were. I stopped listening to my parents when I was 13. I was the smartest guy in the room, right? And that's obviously not the right like attitude to have. But you see this type of I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me clutching onto my agency, but wanting to instill that level of respect, but then coupled with fear that will make the wrong decision because you kind of get one shot.
Yeah. So, wrong decisions that are permanent are things that require the adult to step in and take control. Like, rough analogy, like getting your ears pierced, no big deal. Getting a tattoo, big deal.
Right.
One can be easily undone, the other cannot. Right. But if you apply
dyeing your hair or
if you apply this to all of, decisions that a child can make, the point stands, right? Which is like things that have no real lasting or, meaningful consequences. Let them make the mistakes. Yeah. The more the better. The more mistakes they make, the faster they'll learn. But if they're really going to hurt themselves, break a bone, you should probably stop what they're doing.
Don't jump off the roof.
Even if they kick and scream. It's your job to keep them safe before anything else. Yeah. But beyond keeping them safe, do whatever they want, and you say what if they don't make the right choice, right? Like, what if my kid has the option to, study math, read a book, or, go throw rocks at the fence in the backyard. Right. And they go out and throw rocks. You made the wrong choice. Who are you to make that decision? Like, what if you wanted to go out back and get some exercise? It's like adults, we classify ourselves differently because we hold kids to a higher standard. Right? We expect them to be better than us. And I don't think that's right. I think that the harder you try to do that, right? Influencing their choices is one thing. Creating incentives I pay my kids, right? Like they literally earn physical silver coins.
To do what?
Whatever I think will benefit their trajectory. But they don't have to do it. It's just like a bonus. It's like, so my 5-year-old, again, she's a builder. She loves, like, she'll finish like some massive puzzle or a new massive Lego, something that really pushed her boundaries, something that she was not comfortable with, that made her frustrated, and she persevered through it and completed it. It's like payday. There's literally the word payday at my house. It's like, you're getting paid today, and that's become like a thing. She wants to do certain things, and she'll be like, how can I get paid? We have a star system too, where if they do things that are not expected of them, but are welcomed, like helping fold the laundry or helping with the baby, then they earn little stars and they fill up their star jar and then they get a prize, right?
Cool.
And so
what kind of prizes are you like?
Whatever they choose. They get to select from, things, and they'll put the little picture of it on their nightstand, and the star jar fills up, and they're like, I get it.
Got it. Sweet.
And again, we're experimenting. Like, I don't think there's a strict right answer that something like that is necessary, but I think that you can and should, as an adult, provide incentives to help nudge them in a direction that you think is best for them. But that crosses the line when you say you have to do this, unless it's to keep them safe,
right?
Or you sane,
right?
That's okay too. You have to preserve your own sanity. Like, you need to go to your room right now because you're driving me crazy. Like, that's okay, even if they don't want to.
This environment is not good for anyone right now.
But the general sort of MO, the daily procedure is like, do whatever you want. I've created some incentives that will maybe encourage you to do things that you wouldn't otherwise do, and that's fine. But ultimately, it's your decision. You guide your education. But hey, I'm here to inspire you. Did you know? Blah, 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 right. Like, so you use these various tools to basically unleash their own natural ambition and creative energies and desire to learn. And ultimately, you have to reconcile this potentiality that they just won't do what you really want them to do or what you think they need to do, right?
Whoa.
What do you do then? Like, you've created the environment, you've inspired them, you've added incentives, and they're just like, no. Okay. What do you do? I haven't run into it yet.
Right.
Because I think it's an exception, not for a given kid, but for a given circumstance. I think all kids will, in general, follow the environment, the incentives, and their own natural humanity. But every once in a while, you're going to have a particular thing the kid just hates, or a particular kid that has tendencies that are like, I only am interested in these things and not those things. What do? I think you go with it.
Just lean into it.
I think you lean into it, because here's the deal. If you don't, what you create is they'll sit down and do it because they have to.
Right.
Because they get punished if
but it's useless for the long term.
But they don't care. They won't retain it. It builds resentment. They'll start sneaking. They'll start lying. You're creating mental illness.
Yeah, negative incentive.
You're creating the right environment for mental illness. And that can, again, I don't mean like severe mental illness like schizophrenia. I'm just talking about these little illnesses that people get. Just like they get the sniffles, you also get the depressions. You also get the anxieties. You also get and they can be severe. They can be chronic. They can be acute and mild. They could be an event, a catastrophic event, but mental illness nonetheless, right? We all get ill from time to time.
Yeah.
Just like we get physically ill. People are very ready and willing to admit that they're like not feeling well today.
Yeah, I've got a cough, I've got a sore throat.
But if somebody's just like, I'm feeling a little mentally ill the last few weeks, like they might say like, I haven't been like feeling up to, but it's like, you're ill.
Yeah.
There's something wrong. Yeah. Right?
Something in your brain is not firing properly.
And if you are raising kids in the way that we were talking about, where it's like you sit down, you do this, and they don't want to, you're creating the foundation of like a lifelong mental illness. And if you look out at society today, how would you describe, the broad society? Would you say that people are generally mentally healthy across the board?
Yeah, no chance.
That the median, that the first standard deviation is just a really sound, healthy, mentally person? You're like, no. And I think a lot of this has to do with schooling.